It's good to be back. I'm getting over a sickness. I've had a cold for like the past 4 days, and it's not fun, man. I thought I had COVID initially, but do not have COVID. Got a negative test, and we're back. And Quin and Patricia are not, and that's why we're here. That's why that good news intro is playing, because we got some really good news on Saturday after watching a pretty fucking bad football game in Ann Arbor. God, dude, we'll get into that later. I'm not going to talk about it right away, but we'll get into that later for sure. Right now, we're going to talk about the Lions and them actually finally ripping off the Band-Aid, which in this case was a whole roll of duct tape. But, sometimes you just got to do it. 2.5 years of this atrocious, product that we've had. 5 years of Bob Quin, below average draft picks, below average free agent signs, trying to, buy into the Patriot way, blah, blah, blah. Fuck that, dude. How many coaches have to fail before we realize, okay, Belichick's predecessors they're not the answer. Belichick is the answer, not his offsprings. We actually tried to do that more than any other franchise. We went full balls on that idea, and it backfired big time. And obviously all the players fucking hated this guy. It was pretty obvious. They were literally thanking him. They were thanking Sheila for firing this guy. Players midseason are thanking the owner for making the decision. That is a horrible sign on Patricia's part. He'll never get a head coaching job again, realistically, because he butchered this franchise, and it was bad. Bob Quin as well. I mean, who knows? He'll probably get a job inside of football, but it's not going to be a GM job. It definitely shouldn't be a GM job. The guy was horrid. And, it's going to be an interesting search here. I think Robert Saleh or Sally or whatever the fuck, however the fuck you pronounce his last name, he's the guy. I really do believe so. No head coaching experience, but I truly believe that that's not always the key indicator. If you look at statistics, then yeah, but this guy has an energy that's unmatched, and he's extremely creative. He can provide a culture change, which is exactly what this franchise needs. And I think he's the strongest candidate so far. Other candidates we're looking at: Eric Bieniemy, Andy Reid guy though. We could be looking at another Matt Nagy type situation. We think he's an offensive guru, but actually he's just hiding behind Andy Reid and just kind of, being there, really, for Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid. He's in the middle of two generational type talents, each at their, own respective craft. Patrick Mahomes is the most talented quarterback of all time. I mean, you can't, who's more talented than Patrick Mahomes? Honestly, I'll wait. You could say Peyton Manning is more valuable, maybe, just because, he read defenses better than anybody in NFL history, and no one did more with less, I feel like. The guy just, no matter who he had on his roster, they were going to excel. Dallas Clark, you think Dallas Clark would have been a good tight end with 99.9% of other quarterbacks throwing him the football? What about Brandon Stokely? What about, even Reggie Wayne, Marvin Harrison? Those guys were Hall of Famers, especially Marvin Harrison, but, do they have nearly the same success without Peyton Manning throwing them the football? So, Pat Mahomes he's that guy. He is the best quarterback in the league. It's not even close. Aaron Rodgers is incredible, but it's really not close. Mahomes is the clear-cut guy here. So, Bieniemy's just, I'm a little worried about that. And we just fall back in the trap of just kind of putting the defense off. If we hire Robert Saleh, that is a commitment to the defensive side of the ball. And I feel like when you're in a rebuilding stage, that's kind of what you have to do. Teams like San Fran have had success doing that in rebuilding stages. And, check who's the only undefeated team right now. Pittsburgh, 11-0. What are they known for? Defensive side of the ball. Roethlisberger's played great, this whole year. Their offense isn't bad, but they're built through defense. They win games through defense, and their offense, getting them enough to win games. Keep, holding on to the time of possession. That's how you win football games. That's how you win in the NFL. And yeah, if you have Pat Mahomes, you can do whatever the fuck you want. You have Andy Reid, yeah, let it loose. You're going to win by that. But you've seen, I mean, Kansas City's exposed. Like, they've been exposed before just because the defense just isn't that, it's not that sound. But obviously them winning a Super Bowl, silenced everybody. But, I mean, you got to build through defense, man. And Salay's the guy. People that say Harbaugh, I mean, I don't know what you're thinking. Like, if Harbaugh coaches the Lions and he stays in the same community, stays in the same location after, destroying Michigan, like, dude, I mean, Michigan's already destroyed. Let's be real. Like, Michigan they haven't had an identity since Lloyd Carr was here. They haven't had success since Lloyd Carr was here. And, yeah, you could say, oh, they're getting 6 to 10 guys drafted every year almost. Like, a lot of first-round guys, a lot of second-round guys, a lot of talent coming through Michigan. But the success on the field has lacked, and it's clear. Excuse me, guys. Sorry. I just had some coffee, and I'm already having trouble, like, breathing out of my nose, and it's not fun. But, yeah, anyways, like, it's really pathetic that people would think that's a good idea. So, Harbaugh, definitely not the answer in Detroit. Another guy that people are bringing up, too, I was listening to The Ticket the other day, and this one dude was trying to say Nick Saban, and I was just like, why? It makes me laugh because, like, this dude is like 65. He's probably old as Saban, and he didn't know what the fuck he was talking about. But he was like, "Yeah, Nick Saban's gonna try to come back to the NFL and prove himself." And it's like, dude, he's potentially the best college football coach ever, and has a dynasty that's still a well-oiled machine right now in Alabama. Why would he leave to come to the dysfunctional organization of the Detroit Lions? What's the point? He's already been a part of one poopy organization in the Miami Dolphins in the NFL, and he had no success there. And yes, circumstances make, a lot of difference. But that's crazy. One, we'd have to pay this guy like $11 million a year just to even convince him to come to Detroit, to leave Alabama. And two, like, we don't even know if it's going to be the right fit. So, like, back off the idea. Be realistic here. Let's focus on one side of the ball. All right, because the offense, let's be real. All right, we've tried to, implement just an offensive, mindset. The defense has been pathetic, but like keeping Stafford here and surrounding him with weapons that we think are going to work hasn't worked. Taking tight ends in the first round hasn't worked. Taking receivers in the first round outside of Calvin Johnson hasn't worked. So let's focus on a defensive identity for once in our franchise history. Can we please do that one time and just see what the product's going to be? See if we can be like a San Francisco, who consistently, like, yeah, they've went through rebuilds in the past 10 years, but it hasn't been long rebuilds. Like, they're bouncing back, going to Super Bowls and shit because their defense is incredible, and they consistently focus on drafting quality defensive linemen, quality defensive pieces that impact winning. Like, we have not drafted players that impact winning in I don't know how long, since Ndamukong Suh, really. So, god damn it, man. Like, let's figure it the fuck out. Let's hire Robert Saleh, and then the GM will figure out itself. Like, we definitely need the right piece in there, but, like, the coaching decision, I think, has to be Robert Saleh, and it's just got to be, man. So, that's my opinion on that. I think the Lions are going to lose 4 out of the next 5 games, finish 5-11, and probably end up with about the 8th pick, I'd say. 7th, 8th pick, which is good enough to draft a high-caliber defensive talent on the line. I wish that if they lose out, I bet you they get about 4 or 5. Because realistically, there's only about 3 to 4 teams maybe that could have less than 4 wins. You got the Bengals, you got probably the Cowboys, you have the Jaguars, and then you have the Jets. All 4 of those teams more than likely won't win 4 games. Lions stay at 4. We get that 4th or 5th pick. So please let that happen. But yeah, we'll see what's to come here in Detroit. As far as Michigan goes, let's get into that here. Let's get into some Michigan football. Michigan just took a loss, 27-17, 27-17 against a 0-5 Penn State football team. And yeah, that's really all I got to say. I mean, we fall to 2-4, and we are, I'd have to say, the worst team in the Big Ten East. Honestly, outside of maybe Rutgers in the whole Big Ten. Because you can't say Michigan State's worse than us right now. I mean, I've said it multiple times this year because I thought it was true. But, I mean, they beat us, and they just beat a top 10 football team. So, Is Northwestern really a top 10 football team? Probably not, but they're still ranked number 8, or they were ranked number 8. And Michigan State, give credit to where it's due, man. Like, they went in and they played their asses off again. You know, they're already kind of establishing somewhat of an identity. They just need to get a quarterback, honestly, and get Tucker's recruits in. We'll see what happens. I don't think they're going to have success for a while, at least like top of the Big Ten type success, but they're still going to be a football team that can win games, you know, regardless of the circumstance. And we can't say that about Michigan right now. It's time to get Harbaugh out of here. It really is time. Like, I said it right after they lost to Michigan State. You know, that was the final straw. But we're still here losing almost every football game of the season. Our 2 wins, Minnesota and Rutgers. Penn State and Michigan State, they've won a total of 3 football games this year. And 2 of them were against Michigan. 2 of them. And they've lost, I believe, 9? Because Michigan State's 2-4, Penn State's 1-5. So yeah, 9 football games they've lost. They won 3. So 33 win percentage. 2 out of the 3 are against Michigan. No excuse, man. We have no identity. The play calling's fucking pathetic. Like, it's consistently pathetic. It's bad, man. And I'm sick of watching it. I'm honestly sick of watching it. Yeah, it's easy as not watching it, but it's hard to do when you're a fan and you want change with the program, but it just doesn't seem to be happening. So I don't know. I mean, we're obviously not going to play Maryland. We're probably not going to play Ohio State. Season's probably going to get canceled. And that's the best thing for this team right now, honestly. Like, it sucks because of COVID, and, like, we obviously want everybody to be okay, but, like, we just should cancel the season and just move on and, you know, do what we got to do as a program and, you know, really, like, identify the issues internally. Like, that's got to be something that's done here. And if Harbaugh's not the guy, like, don't be afraid to pull the plug on him, you know? I feel like just because it's Jim Harbaugh and, like, which it doesn't make sense because he's regressed every year. Like, just because it's Jim Harbaugh, we're just going to hold on to him, you know? And hopefully, at the bare minimum, I just pray to God that the coordinators are gone at the end of the year. At bare minimum. If Harbaugh stays, get the fucking coordinators out. Get Don Brown the fuck out of town, man. Like, it's been too long. And just continue to just push recruits and just, you know, push the message and really try to just keep the culture of Michigan football established and, you know, try to build on, you know, whatever you started at least, like, if you're going to stay. Because we're looking at a program that's not going to make a change in the coming months. It's just not going to happen, man. Harbaugh's going to be the coach next year, so I'm being realistic with my takes here on this, just because Don Brown and Gaddis got to go, and Harbaugh can stay. You know, whatever. That's what it's going to be. So it's sad saying that, but I don't know, man. It's just really frustrating to watch. You know, watch Penn State just come in and just pretty much do whatever the fuck they want. You know, like, and Milton's horrible to add at that. McNamara getting injured didn't help. You know, he could be the guy, but bring J.J. McCarthy in here. Let's pray to fucking God he doesn't decommit. And just throw him out there day one, dude. Like, honestly, throw him the fuck out there. Develop him from the start. You know, just give him experience. Because realistically, he's a guy that could get drafted his junior year without a red shirt. So let's figure it out, man. I appreciate you guys tuning in for real. It's been a long couple weeks. I started a new job. That's why I really haven't had much time to get on here. I also, like I said, I've been sick, and I'm still, like, overcoming the sickness. So I don't have COVID though, so that's good. But once again, I appreciate you guys tuning in, man, and let me know what you guys think. If you guys want to discuss on Twitter, I'll be posting this on Twitter and Spotify as well. So, guys, reach out and let me know what you guys think. And I hope everybody has a great Thursday afternoon. So, take it easy.